Thanks for staying with us. So we've asked Nigerians to send in their stories, and we're going to be reading one of the stories that we got from our email and see what we can do to help this particular person. It says, since I got married to my wife, she has never done anything without asking her elder brother's opinion. She once told me her brother is her spiritual head and pastor. The brother opened a prayer ministry, asked my wife to join him to build the ministry against my will. And this is the beginning of the problem with her. We have our own church that we attend. She threatened me many times that if I don't permit her to join her brother in his ministry, that she will make life unbearable for me. The brother on his own side asked her to tell me I'm fighting God by not allowing my wife to join him. Right now, things have fallen apart. We're still together. I'm treating a case of stroke that happened to me last year. We saw this opportunity as an opportunity to revenge. The brother said that God told him that I'm the wizard, and she supported the brother. They went as far as cornering my children to tell them that their father is a wizard. Meanwhile, I'm recovering from stroke. According to her, her anger is that I reported the case to my church elders, and for the brother that I was not supposed to talk about the man of God to anybody. So this matter has a bit of family discord and spirituality. You know, it's always about where to draw the line. And the reason why we're only going to use this as a point of reference, because we realize many homes have this kind of conflict of spirituality. The one is about, you know, either whose loyalty who are you loyal to, your husband or your brother? Someone will say your spouse or your blood. You know how they want to emphasize that this is your blood and this one is just your husband or your wife, you know? So that's there. And then there's a spiritual angle that God has said that I should join his ministry, or God has said that you should, you know, that spiritual part where when you bring in, God said, everybody, it has a whole new
brain
meaning.
will just shut down.
It has a whole new meaning when you say, God has said that, you know, I should walk with my brother, you know, and this is God's calling, and then you bring the elders of the church, you know. So we'll come to that. So these are two different cases. Who are you loyal to, your blood or your spouse? That's the first conversation, because we get this where siblings are so close and they feel that, listen, no matter what, any day you can walk away. But this my blood is my blood. If this person, I'm closer to this person, I am more loyal, committed to this person. And that's something, that's a reality many have to face. Others believe, I've left you, I've cleaved to this person, I don't longer, you know, what are your thoughts? Let me come to the ladies. Talk away.
So, because I don't have a sibling, it would be weird for me to say sibling is not important. But ideally, I would say that your spouse is more, you have become one with your spouse if we're following the biblical principle. And I find myself having to define that to my mom as an only child. Let me put that into it, because just after I had my twins, she came in and expected some things from my husband. And when my husband didn't do what she was expecting, she came to me thinking, what kind of disrespect? And she was really angry, thinking I would side her. And I told her, it's my husband, though. You can see the children. I am now here with 2 boys. This is my primary constituency.
Look at that.
My husband's place. She felt very bad, started praying that God, my only child. I said, Mommy, calm down. I did not say that I've abandoned you. I just said that this particular issue, you are trying to make me pick a side between you and my husband. I will pick my husband. I will pick my husband, because you need to define things at an appropriate time. In an ideal marriage, of course, there are marriages where your lifeline and your lifeblood is your spouse and family. But in the ideal way it should be, is that you have cleaved to your partner, and that is where it should be.
Okay.
You see this thing called God said. This thing called God said has destroyed many lives.
Come to that one. Let's not enter that sector of it. Let's stay with this loyalty issue, because a lot of people, I like to come to you, I'm not sure who wants to go first. There's a lot of issue around the fact that there are people who have said that, thank God I remain loyal to my sibling, to my family. I didn't abandon them, because when this man showed me, they were the ones I ran to. When this woman left me, abandoned me, it was my sister that stood by me. So sometimes they say, oh, that's when they will now remember that blood is thicker than water. So as much as you'd want to say, I stand with my spouse. Some women feel like, you know what, no matter what, I can come and beg you later. Right? I'll come and beg my spouse, my wife later. But this moment, though, I stand with my brother, I stand with my sister, because that is important to me. I can now come home later and come and beg you. Damola, what do you think? Loyalty?
My worry, though, is why the man is asking his wife not to follow her calling. If she has a calling on, I'm not married, so for now, I would always choose my sibling over anybody because I've been doing life with them since I was born. And nobody can just come with 2 left legs and just say, hey, I'm the man now, I'm taking you away. But then we have to also understand why the man is asking her not to join her brother in this ministry, because she might have a calling on her life. So, or do you want to establish a church yourself? You know,
because... Let me start. Yeah, this calling. Go ahead.
Because... The story is not clear. He did not give, he said against my will. Why? You didn't give reasons why she should not do this. And another thing I would like to point out is, if, I'm coming to the wife now, if your brother has always been your spiritual head and your pastor, and now he's saying that your husband is a wizard, did you not see it before you got married, or you did not seek spiritual counsel before you got married to this man? So I think it's a conflict that needs to be resolved on both sides. And
this can come anytime. Maybe it was happening after the...
Oh, he went to take the wizardry after...
Well, let me come to... Let's talk about this issue of loyalty before we go into the ministry part.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this? How do you choose?
Well, because we're talking about a Christian family, obviously God is, especially the Christian God, is very important in this home. From what I know is that according to Christianity, the husband is the head. And so he is the one that would, you know, after God is your husband, then you next. So I would expect that in a house like that, you would not be defying the head. So this, because I'm talking to people who have said, who are in church, who are workers in church, so they understand the word. They are supposed to be led by the principles of, you know, the Christianity in their homes. If they were not Christians, my view would be a bit different. Because I also agree that if she has a calling, if she even has an interest to work with her brother, I don't know why it's such a big deal for the husband. I don't know why it's a negative for him. So, in my own opinion, is there a sort of relationship he has with the brother that he's not comfortable about, and he's using this calling as a way to make a point, you know? Because if his brother-in-law if they are good and they have conversations, I would expect he calls his brother, the brother-in-law aside and say, you know what, I would like her to stay in the family church. We go here. I prefer a united front in our home, you know, when we go to church. And then the brother can say, it's not a problem, but she feels that there's a calling, there's a spiritual higher than us right now.
Absolutely.
And so she will go that's why she wants to go with me. So there's obviously a lack of breakdown of communication somewhere. They are not, the brother and the husband don't seem to be on the same wavelength. And they've put the wife in the middle. And all I see that is wrong that the wife has done so far from what the letter is sent us is the fact that she's chosen to worship God in a place that her brother is.
Okay. No, and please, Morayo. You know, I don't think that's anything she's done.
Yeah.
The man said something. The man said, since I got married to my wife, she has never done anything without asking her elder brother's opinion. That cannot work. You are not in a marriage if every decision in your marriage is in consultation and confirmation of another person outside that marriage.
But
we say it
for someone like, wait, let's come to Damola for a second, because Damola is saying that I'm single. She's been used to having her brother. Her brother has been a spiritual head, for example.
Yes.
So now she marries somebody. The guy is coming after fact.
But
so
already decided
he's
to
coming.
marry.
He's coming.
No, but okay, it's because you
he's
don't
a
have
spiritual head.
I'm married.
Yes.
I have a sibling. We are very close. I run nearly everything by her. My mom as well. I do, but it has not made my husband feel insecure. There are conversations I have with him, and he understands. There are conversations I have with my mother. There are some things I will discuss with him. I'll run by my mother, I'll run by my sister, and I'll tell him, this is what my mom said, this is what my... But there's no,
But they know you're the
there's
one
no
making the
aggro.
decision.
Yes, but there's no aggro.
What if
Yes.
you're not the one making the
No,
decision?
you don't, in this, see, in this case, he says she goes to her brother to ask for
Everything.
So, for everything. When we're growing up, there are lots of things that happen in the family, and my sister and I were there for each other. We understand some things. My husband, there's some things he will not understand because the history of
But
childhood
could it
and
be because he's your sister, not your brother? If it was a brother, maybe he'll feel that, okay, there's a connection.
man?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the man might feel, okay, there's another man in
Thank
your
you,
life.
Morayo, because I'm...
So the
as you
sister
have
thing...
You have thrown it to me that I don't have siblings.
Okay, but another man in your life who he sees as a spiritual head, who you rather defer to, for him might be threatening, don't you think, Damola?
But the angle I would also want to take it from is, I want to paint a scenario now. It's possible that some decisions that the man has made on behalf of the woman has led her into troubles.
That's her husband.
Her husband. So she believes that he's not as wise as her brother. So, yeah, so maybe he needs to build that capacity, that leadership capacity that his wife sees in the brother, to say, okay, I'm here for you, because it's not okay to just say that you are the man of the house, I'm your leader. You have to actually show leadership skills.
Yeah, if
you
you're
have to be
married,
empathetic.
That is
You
a
have to be...
very important point,
Exactly.
Damola, because there are many husbands that are not as wise as your brother.
But you are married a fool, and you manage the person you are
That
married.
is why you have to be careful when you're getting married.
Yeah,
You
But-
have to
but-
actually
but
don't
let's say
just-
even...
Let's
let's
say
even say you marry
husband.
someone and you find out that he's not as wise as your brother in some things. There's some people that it's your brother that is financially more savvy and your husband is spiritually savvy. We have different...
balance.
Yes. My problem is the man seems to be insecure about the brother, and I can't see why, because we have different points of meeting each other, you know, different people in our lives.
But Mariam, would you be comfortable if a woman is, if your husband's sister
Or even brother.
Sister is influencing everything you do at home? You say, I
Does it
want
come
my kids
across
to
as
go to
different?
this school.
Yes.
I want my kids to go to this school. Then your husband comes and says, but my sister said that that school is not so good. This one is better, and I'm going with this one. She gave this and this. You let that one go. The next time I want us to travel, my sister said that that country is not kineko. He goes with it. When it happens back to back, you just realize that, what am I doing here? Especially for a man. I feel like it's useless in the marriage if every decision is being cross-checked by somebody outside.
Let me take this call and then I'll go on a break. Good morning, are you there? Morning, Dari, you're live from Kaduna.
Yes, I am seriously against strong influence of in-laws in marriages.
Sorry?
Both
Influence of
sides
in-laws in marriage.
are old enough. I'm not talking about age now. They are matured enough when they say they want to get married. Allow them to make their mistakes. Guide them as parents. Don't place much influence on them. It is uncalled for. Guide them, because if you are placing much influence on them, it's like you are still holding on to them. Please allow them make their mistakes. Be there to guide. Even in the aspect of spirituality, let them make their mistakes. Just correct. Don't influence their decisions. They have their life to live. You have lived your own with your husband. Allow them to chart a new course for their own life and move on with it. Every marriage has its own challenges. Let them discuss.
Thank you, Darius. We're going to go on a break. Okay. But we're going to come back with the spiritual angle.
Can I have it?
Because we'd like to see, in a situation whereby you are with your spouse, but God is ministering to your spirit, that you must join your brother in the ministry for the people of God. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.